And as a tourist, I'm not trying to wake up later in the day. I need to start the day as early as I can so that we can get to the activities immediately. I said, wow, everyone is actually outside. Like, wait, you guys are actually outside and you're walking. In California, the most you will see people walking is at the mall. Maybe if there's like a festival somewhere and obviously everyone is there, then you see people. Other than that, on just a regular day, at just from point A to point B, at oh, I want to get a coffee, so I'm just gonna walk to the coffee shop. Oh, no one is walking outside. Even if it's just 2 minutes away, people drive. If you're walking outside on the street, you're literally the only one walking. My second day, which was now my first full day, I remember walking to breakfast. It was just so nice, just walking to breakfast. Ugh, I really, really loved walking. Catch me at home walking though. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I park as close as I can to the door so that I don't have to walk too far when I'm going to the shopping centers and all that. But as a tourist, I am waking up, I'm putting my comfortable shoes on, and we're walking to breakfast for like 10 minutes. We're walking. Oh, wow. And then in the evening at night, I went to a nice tour. Let me tell you, if you are going to a new city and you want to be a tourist out there, you need to be checking on Groupon and the deals that they have on there, because me, I was just on Google searching things to do in DC, and then I came across those bus tours, and that bus tour was on a crazy sale, and I was like, it's Groupon, it has to be legit. They take federal holidays very seriously. In DC, it was like at a certain time everything is closed. You want to go outside and get food? Nothing. There is nothing outside. There is nothing because everywhere is closed because of Veterans Day. And I was like, whoa, whoa, that's actually crazy. It was a bit similar to California in the sense that as much as people are open to socialize, everyone is still kind of minding their business and just like, going wherever they're going. But it felt a bit easier to strike conversations with people out there than it did here because people aren't outside here to begin with. So who are you even striking the conversation with as you're walking? Because you're walking by yourself. Yeah. Filming this video in December. And that's the time when Soulfest is announcing what they're doing. I just wish I could go, but hey, it's okay. I'll just watch through people's stories. Welcome back to yet another video. I am so happy that you're here. A season ends at episode 13, so now we are on season 2, basically. And today, I want to just talk about my overall experience in DC and the East Coast because it was my first time there and I just really enjoyed it. This is going to be just me chit chatting. You see, I even have my blanket with me here because it's the cold season and we have to stay warm somehow. So, yeah, I will be talking about my overall experience, culture shocks, things I liked, things I didn't like, all of that. Okay? And before I get started, be sure to check the link in the description box and in my bio to see the platforms that you can connect with me on. You can follow me on Instagram. I post a lot more frequently there. We can chat more there on my stories. And you can follow me on the Instagram page for this YouTube platform. It's called Twîri World, just like this one. And you can also follow me on my cooking page where I post some recipes once in a while when I cook. You can also follow me on TikTok. There you can also find my Amazon storefront and my LTK. And that's basically where I put links to outfits and other things. And the Amazon storefront is like anything I buy on Amazon that I like and I just want to put you on. So, yeah. Okay, so getting straight into it, I have always wanted to go to DC. By always is a strong word. So I would just say maybe over the last few years, I've been interested by the idea of going to DC and just never actually made a plan to do so. And I think this thing is on the side and you guys are not telling me. The thing that made me finally want to go was because my birthday was coming up. And I was thinking, I was like, I've never done anything like this for my birthday. I've never done anything like traveling. The last two birthdays I did birthday dinners, and I love birthday dinners, but man, the planning of it all, just this year I didn't feel like planning things. That time also there was just so much going on, so I didn't want to add the planning aspect onto my plate because there was already a lot happening. So I was just going to do something with my family, and I did. And then after that, I figured it would be a good time to travel. And granted, I did not plan this at the very last minute. I planned this months in advance. I had already planned this trip, and it's kind of lined up, honestly, because initially when I planned it, it wasn't supposed to be a birthday trip. It was just supposed to be a DC trip, East Coast trip. And so it was maybe like 2 weeks or the weekend after my, no, 2 weeks after my birthday. So I just decided to call it a birthday trip because it was literally lining up with the season and everything. And so since it was already planned, I didn't have to worry about anything. I just had to literally make the plans happen and pack my bags and go. DC is quite literally on the other side of the country. I live in California, and DC is on the east. And oh my gosh, the US is a very massive country. Oh my god. And each state literally feels like a country of its own. It's not, but for some reason, whenever I'm in a new state, I feel like I'm in a new country. I don't know why. Anyway, so I was in DC for I think 6 days. That includes the travel days. And the first thing I noted was that DC is 3 hours ahead of my time. So the time that it's 7 p.m. here is 10 p.m. there. So by the time everyone around me is going to sleep in DC, the rest of my family is literally just getting their evening started. And I tried to figure out a way to, not get too used to a new system, especially because I was there for quite a while. And so I was trying to stay up later, basically try to sleep my time, which is by like 11 ish. And so by 11 of that time, 11 plus 3 is what? 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Yeah. So you can see I was sleeping very late. And then I'm at the same time I'm trying to wake up early, and it just wasn't working out. So I had to start following the DC system, because by keeping mine, it meant I was sleeping later, waking up later. And as a tourist, I'm not trying to wake up later in the day. I need to start the day as early as I can so that we can get to the activities immediately. So I just gave in, and I said, it's okay. I don't want to lose my day. So I'll start sleeping. When the time says 11, I'll sleep at 11. It's okay. And even though that is just 8 p.m. back home, and it's safe to say that when I came back home, I was fighting the urge to sleep early, because, man, by 7 p.m., I was starting to get sleepy. I was like, what the heck? And then there's daylight savings, which means that the sun sets earlier, and that usually happens during the fall, winter months. And that didn't help, because by 5 p.m., it's usually pitch dark. So that already on its own confuses my system. Now, the fact that I was already falling asleep at 8 p.m. wherever I was didn't help. The first thing I experienced, actually the very first thing I experienced in DC in terms of culture shocks, was how much everyone was outside, because DC is a walkable city. And as a Californian, that was a shock, because I said, wow, everyone is actually outside. Like, wait, you guys are actually outside and you're walking. In California, the most you will see people walking is at the mall. Maybe if there's like a festival somewhere and obviously everyone is there, then you see people. Other than that, on just a regular day, just from point A to point B, oh, I want to get a coffee, so I'm just gonna walk to the coffee shop. Oh, no one is walking outside. Even if it's just 2 minutes away, people drive. If you're walking outside on the street, you're literally the only one walking. So it's very, very specific pockets of places where you see people walking, and it's literally places where people would obviously be there no matter where they are, because it's like the mall. Any mall, you're going to find people walking. So yeah, it was nice though. It was nice. I've always wanted to experience a walkable city. So as soon as I landed and got myself situated, I walked to the place I got dinner, and it was just nice. I was just like, wow, I feel like I'm in a movie. I'm gonna insert a video of myself walking here. Kind of nervous because this came in very highly recommended. Once I didn't share. I got a lot of steps in because of this walking, and you know me, I was trying to make the most of it. That was my gym actually. I didn't work out by going to the gym, but those steps, yeah, those were my knees. There's literally a day I got 15,000 steps in. Whew! And me, let me tell you, that day I did the most. Hey, I did the most. But yeah, overall, DC is a very historical city, and it's very centered around political kind of history, in the sense that they have a lot of memorials and things to do with like past presidents or like influential people in history, but all of it is really, most of it is really just geared towards um politics, right? There is also a lot to do with culture, so it's also very cultural. A lot of museums that honor different cultures and everything and highlight different cultures. And yeah, so there's this building or monument called the Washington Monument. It's very tall, and yeah, picture, yes. And first of all, interesting fact, that thing is a replica or like inspired, or I don't know, I don't want to say stolen, but there's this guy called Dr. Chike Akua, and he has done extensive research on African history and a lot of things to do with that. And I've watched one of his presentations where he's showing the comparison of the Washington Monument with a monument in Egypt, and how the monument in Egypt was built first. I think it's Egypt. I hope I don't have that wrong. But basically, it was in Africa. And it's just crazy. It's crazy because these things look so unique, but are they really unique? They're not, because if the African country had it first, then, and this person just went and took it as it was and just placed it here. I'll actually see if I can find that picture. Anyway, a fun fact I learned from one of my friends is that uh, in DC, you are legally prohibited from building anything that's taller than that monument. And I thought that was very interesting. But then again, it made sense because that building or that monument, there's quite literally no skyscrapers in DC because from any point, all you see is that monument, especially when you're within tourist attraction sites. I did a lot of touristing, and the most intense thing I did was on my second day there. My first day was the day I arrived here. So my second day, which was now my first full day, I remember walking to breakfast. It was just so nice, just walking to breakfast. Ugh, I really, really loved walking. Catch me at home walking though. I park as close as I can to the door so that I don't have to walk too far when I'm going to the shopping centers and all that. But as a tourist, I am waking up, I'm putting my comfortable shoes on, and we're walking to breakfast for like 10 minutes. We're walking. Oh, wow. So I remember I went to Maryland that day because I wanted to tick some things off my bucket list. I always want to check some states off, and DC is not a state, but it is recognized as a region of its own. So it's not part of any state, it's just Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. And so it borders Maryland and Virginia. So that day in the afternoon, I went to Maryland and I just explored. There's a city called Silver Spring. It's literally right there. When you cross the border, you cross the border into Silver Spring. And I just explored, walked around. It was very low key. It was good vibes. I enjoyed it. The one thing I did notice that there were a lot of Africans, a lot. Like, and now you remember I told you people are walking. So I'm walking past. There's just one entire street where everyone I was walking past was African. It was a lot of them. So I was just like, wow. So I'm seeing very many Africans here in Maryland, in Silver Spring specifically. I mean, that's the only part of Maryland I've been to. There are a lot of East Africans. I've seen some Ethiopians. I'm seeing West Africans. So it's like a blend of East and West. The thing that I really like is how you can just see people are looking at you. The Africans that I have seen are just, the way they're smiling at me is making me feel so warm inside. I'm just like, wow, I feel so seen in this new city. This is where my people are at. Yeah, this is okay. Very interesting. It felt very nice to just see so many of us in one place. And I enjoyed that there's a lot of African restaurants out there as well. I think it makes sense considering how many Africans are out there. When I would do the lifts, most of my drivers were African. I was just like, wow, this is really where we're at. And so that night I did a night tour. So that was like proper touristing in Maryland. So I checked Maryland off my list. I spent an entire afternoon there. And then in the evening at night, I went to a night tour. Let me tell you, if you are going to a new city and you want to be a tourist out there, you need to be checking on Groupon and the deals that they have on there, because I was just on Google searching things to do in DC, and then I came across those bus tours, and that bus tour was on a crazy sale, and I was like, it's Groupon, it has to be legit. I went and I took it, and I was like, okay, so one part of the itinerary is done, because then I'm just going to be doing this for 3 hours at night. It's a night tour. They just take you through everything because they light the buildings at night. So some of them look really nice at night. A lot of them look nicer at night. I don't know. I mean, they just look regular during the day. But at night, things always look nice when they have like those two lights and everything. So I got to see all the tourist attractions, the monuments, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial with his statue that was so massively tall. Um, there are other memorials like for presidents, like Thomas Jefferson Memorial. There are a lot of war memorials. So World War II, did I say? I think it was World War II that we went to. Yeah. Um, there's a lot of different war memorials, and just them honoring significant events that have happened in history. I would definitely say that DC, if you are someone that loves to learn about cities history and just things like that, you would absolutely love DC one, but you would absolutely love even more going on a guided tour, because the thing with those tours that I liked is that they give you context, they tell you the reason behind this being there, why it's important, everything, how long it's been there, a lot of little details, and then it's guided, so all you need to do really is just see, like you're seeing, and then they let you get off and take a picture with it and then go back in the car or the bus, and sometimes they'll give you enough time. So like some of them, they were giving us 30 minutes, 45 minutes. They're like, okay, I'm giving you 30 minutes, go explore, do whatever, and then come back, we meet here. The other thing I noticed about DC, I did this the next day. I went to a museum. There's so many museums there, like I mentioned earlier with the cultural bit of it. And I went to the African American Museum. The thing with these museums, though, this is a good thing, they are all free. Like, you just go. You do have to reserve your spot, though, because if no one reserves, then these places are gonna have way too many people. But yeah, you reserve your spot and then you just go, and it's just free. So I went to the African American Museum. It was really, really, oh, it was so nice. It was very, very detailed museum. It has levels. I didn't even know that they had levels. I was expecting maybe like 2 floors, just like a regular museum. No, I think this place had like one, two, three, four, five, at least like 6 levels. And I wasn't even able to get through all of them, because the other thing was that it was so detailed. When I tell you, this museum takes you through every single thing that has shaped African American history to what it is today. And they start from the very beginning, like very beginning, when it was just Africans living their lives in Africa, and then how trade became trading for goods, and then now it became trading for people, and then just things like it. They literally take you through every single thing that has happened, and they even tell you which countries started the whole slave trade thing and everything. And I remember Portugal, France, and the Netherlands being mentioned. And I can't lie, man. I was just that area was it was a lot to take in because you're actually just reading about how people were taken from their land. And then you're being taken through the process of how they were forced to let go of their identity and like their culture and their roots. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. And African American history is one of the things I like studying the most. And just being in spaces like that inform me a lot more was a very valuable experience for me. And if you are able to get an opportunity to go to the African American History Museum, you need to go. You need to go. It's very detailed. It literally takes you through everything up to like modern day, right now, pop culture, present culture, things that it takes you through everything, literally everything. Slavery, fight for civil war, like all those things, segregation. It takes you through everything. So you should definitely go. So yeah, I only was able to get through the basement levels. And then the rest of them, so the basement levels are the ones that take you through Nini, slavery, slave trade, domestic slave trade, like everything basically to do with that, and segregation, civil war, all those things. And then as you move up, it's like getting closer to modern day. So I was only able to do the basement. So the next time I find myself in DC, we're going back for the second half. Yeah. And you need a full day for that. You cannot go for just a few hours like I did. That's why I wasn't able to cover everything. The architecture in DC is very old town looking, very red bricks, very Victorian homes in some places. Some places are modern with modern buildings, but places like Georgetown is just very Victorian buildings that were built in the 1800s, still standing strong. Like, wow. Wow, wow. I tried quite a few restaurants, and one of the restaurants I tried was after, especially because I tried this one after I went to the museum. I already talked about it in the other video. I talked about Swahili Village. So I would recommend that you go and check out the previous video because I talked about it and I gave my review. I should be looking there, huh? Not here. There. This is me bringing you an update on Swahili Village. They were playing all my Kenyan favorites. So much fun. I was over there doing the and again, chappy, 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 chappy. It was so much fun. They played Kudade, they played Extra Pressure. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. Any opportunity I can get to go and get Kenyan food out here, because let me tell you, we don't have any Kenyan food restaurants where I live. There are some in San Diego, but the rest of California really doesn't have Kenyan restaurants. So when I went to Seattle in Washington, they had a lot of Kenyan restaurants, and just East African had a lot. Oh, there was this Somali restaurant called Juba.
This is good.
Mimi nimekuja Washington kukula ugali.
Kula ugali. That's what we do.
Chicken sukar.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
So amazing. So amazing. And that one was like a fusion. They were selling Kenyan food. I literally bought ugali and matumbo. Yes, I like matumbo. Matumbo is tripe for anyone that doesn't speak Kiswahili. Yeah, it was really, really good. But yeah, so I never really get to experience Kenyan food at a restaurant here. So whenever I do have the opportunity to do that in other places, I definitely take it. And I'm glad I did with this particular place because it was such a wonderful vibe. The only thing I did notice about them though is that they don't sell mandazi anymore. They no longer sell mandazi. So when I went and I made my order and everything, as you saw in the other video, I was like, okay, maybe I can get some mandazi and then eat it tomorrow for breakfast with chai, or just the mandazi on its own, because I could have just gotten like a drink from a coffee shop or something. But the mandazi, I was like, for sure I want to eat this in the morning, so I'm asking for the mandazi and the waiter is like, yeah, we don't sell mandazi anymore. I don't even know why it's still on the menu, like they haven't taken it out. My heart just shattered into pieces because from the time I got there and I saw mandazi on the menu, I just literally could not wait to order it. But it's okay. I think they sell chapo. I guess we'll take one. There was another restaurant I tried in Maryland, Silver Spring. It's called Koite. I also talked about that in the other one. So those are the only two African restaurants that I got to try. The rest of them were just regular American, or just, yeah, just regular restaurants. There, I did try. Actually, you know what? Since we're talking about restaurants, I'll just tell you the places that I really liked the most. There was Founding Farmers. Oh my god, what was the name of that place? Let me tell you right now. Oh, it's just called Founding Farmers. LOL. Okay, so there's this place called Founding Farmers. It's a restaurant. They sell really, really, really good breakfast. I'll insert a picture of that as well. And there is another place. This one, oh, this one is my favorite. I got this for breakfast on my last day there. It was so good. I just loved the way the restaurant looked. The first one was by the Georgetown waterfront. So after you're done, you could go walk around there. There was a waterfront picture again inserted. It was overall a nice area, that one too. Now the second one was, it was just on the street. It was just like in the middle of the city, and it was just, it looked like a Pinterest page. It literally looked like a Pinterest page, from the restaurant to the food to just the presentation, and the food was so good. I was just like, oh my gosh, if I lived here, I would come here every single time I want to get breakfast from a restaurant. It was beautiful. The service in both places was amazing. The service in across all of them was amazing, but definitely highlighting the Kenyan restaurant, the Ted's Bulleting, which is the one I just talked about, and the Founding Farmers one. The customer, actually all of them, because even the Senegalese restaurant, the customer service was really, really nice. The lady that helped us out was really, really nice. I also got to go to the wharf. The wharf is like an outdoor mall kind of thing with restaurants and some stores. So it was nice just walk around. They also have a waterfront. I tried this restaurant called Mi Vida. They had it's a Mexican restaurant, so Mexican food. And my friend that I went with didn't think I was going to like the restaurant because I come from California and we have access to authentic Mexican food here. Like California is just 2 hours away from the border to Mexico. And so we get really good Mexican food here. And so we were both quite surprised that this food was really good because we've both experienced California Mexican food and we both like it. So this was a new experience. We were both trying the restaurant together for the first time. And it was good. I liked their tacos and I liked their guacamole. As an avocado lover and as a guacamole stan, if your guacamole is good, I'm definitely gonna mark that because you cannot. How can you mess up guacamole? So I was glad that they didn't mess it up. So now I know if I'm to go back to the East Coast, there is a place I know for sure that can give me good Mexican food as someone that comes from the West Coast. Okay? Yes. There was very vibrant social life, and just people being outside made it feel very vibrant, very, just lively. There are so many bars and restaurants, and it just buzzes up over the weekend. And I went closer to the weekend, so I got to really see like people go out. And it was a 3-day weekend because Veterans Day, so people were really outside. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. The only nightlife I got to experience was at the Swahili village. I went back that day. After that food, I said, this is fun. I need to go back here again. So I went to my room, just like did my thing. I did want to go out that night and just like see what the vibes are. And so when I had gone, one of the waiters was telling me that I came too early because later on they bring a DJ. So when I was trying to think of where to go, because I had some spots that were recommended to me, I was just like, well, I already like this place. Why not go back? And then the other thing is that I realized it was quite literally 3 minutes away. Hello? I was definitely going back. But then that part of the city, it wasn't very walkable. Like, I mean, it's walkable, but not at night. I'm not about to walk for like 18 minutes at night. So by car though, it was 3 minutes. So I went, and it was a very, very good time. As you saw from the other video. Okay, you saw. Yeah. The people are quite friendly. I think that the people that I came across and had conversations with, I honestly, as I've gotten older, I have realized that I can be a bit of a social butterfly, a lot of a social butterfly. So I have conversations with people. And so some of the people that I met, or basically everyone that I had a conversation with, was really nice, really friendly. The restaurants that I went to, the service was amazing. Like, people were friendly. However, I am comparing this to Hawaii. Hawaii is the benchmark. I went to Hawaii in June, and the people there, it was so. I have never experienced niceness like that in any other part of the US I've been to. Like, it was crazy. It was different. It was giving Mombasa. It was giving just like slow lifestyle. Everyone there is just in a good mood. Everyone is just vibes, just good vibes. And they're just like, that aura is just good vibes, and you can feel it as you interact with them. I didn't have one bad experience with anyone in Hawaii, and they were just like, they were friendly on a whole other level. So when I say they're friendly, theirs is like a 10. So since that is my benchmark, Washington, I would say, was like about an 8, only because I'm comparing it to that. But other than that, it was like really good. There was nothing wrong with it. It's just like, it was a bit similar to California in the sense that as much as people are open to socialize, everyone is still kind of minding their business and just like, going wherever they're going. But it felt a bit easier to strike conversations with people out there than it did here, because people aren't outside here to begin with. So who are you even striking the conversation with as you're walking? Because you're walking by yourself. Yeah. The other thing I realized is that DC, I forgot to mention this in the culture shock. DC, since that's where the White House is, that's where the capital is, which is basically the parliament, they take federal holidays very seriously. Very seriously. I'm talking things closed early. Like, very, very early, things are closed. So, in California, we take the federal holidays seriously as well, but mostly it's schools. Like, oh, no class on this day, and don't come to school on this day. And other than that, it's usually just whatever else is functioning as usual, because it's just another day, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it in a way that doesn't sound bad. But it's just a regular day, low key, kinda. So here in DC, it was like, at a certain time, everything is closed. You want to go outside and get food? Nothing. There is nothing outside. There is nothing, because everywhere is closed because of Veterans Day. And I was like, whoa, whoa, that's actually crazy. So that happened to me because I went out with one of my friends, and we didn't order food before the kitchen closed. So by the time we were done, I was kind of hungry. And so now I want to get food. And then we just realized that there was nothing that was open. So luckily for me, I had some snacks. So I was okay. I survived. But that next morning, that's when I went to Ted's Bulletin, and I got the biggest breakfast I could get to make up for the fact that I couldn't get food the last night. Generally, though, overall, to wrap it up, I would say that, oh my gosh, how could I forget to mention this? When I was in Maryland, I met up with one of my mutuals on Instagram, and we've kind of known each other for a while. But this time, we actually just got to meet in person. And so she was showing me around downtown Silver Spring. Wow! She missed like 5 opportunities already. And we walked into this food court type of place, and there was this Nigerian owned ice cream spot. It's called Sugar Ice. And I was intrigued from the moment I went there. I was so intrigued because the names are African names. One of them is called Love Nwantiti, and I was like, what? That's the first thing that caught my eye. And then another one that caught my eye was an ice cream flavor called Basbos. I said, whoa, I love it here. This is amazing. So they literally had flavors like tea and bread. When I tell you the flavors are so tailored to the African taste profile, because they had an ice cream flavor called tea and bread. Tea and bread. And it was sold out, so I couldn't try it. I so sad I couldn't get to see what tea and bread was like in ice cream. But they had this other one called the Bass Boss one. It was basically spicy chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, I just want that. Yeah, that is basketball.
You guys definitely chose the right name. Yeah, it tasted exactly how you imagine Basbos to taste. And they had this Madagascar vanilla, so it was different because you know how they get the vanilla bean from Madagascar. So this one tasted different. And then they had another one called Vimto. They had Malta flavored ice cream. They had groundnut ice cream. So all these were a fusion of Nigeria, Senegal, and Ghana, from what I remember. And what was the other one that we tried? Oh, chin chin and cream. That was the other one that we tried. Yeah. So the other thing that caught my attention was the kind of toppings they had. They had things like plantain toppings, Milo dust, Ovaltine, chin chin, agege bread. I said, whoa, this is crazy. So I really enjoyed being there, and I really enjoyed downtown Silver Spring. I also went post-election, like literally post-election, like 2 days after, and I was pleasantly surprised by how peaceful it was. I had talked to people before I went. I said, what is it usually like after elections? Because do I need to cancel my trip? But people were saying that DC is usually peaceful and that the time there is actually tension is during the inauguration, because that's when everything is official. So when I went, literally everyone was going about their day. Yeah, it was very, you couldn't even tell an election had just happened, except for the people that had a silent protest going on. So there was a silent protest going on where people put um, specific number plate covers. Anywho, overall, I think it was a very beautiful experience. This was a solo trip. I'll make another video on all things solo travel. I think that one should be a quick video because it's quite straight to the point. And yeah, I really appreciate you watching this video. I will see you on the next one. Stay tuned for more videos every week. I'm trying to, film on a consistent basis so I can stay ahead of my schedule. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to share this video with someone, comment, subscribe, like, and I hope that you have a good day, evening, morning, afternoon, night, depending on when you're watching this. Okay, see you on the next one. Bye.